Hello and welcome to Card Subject to Change presents The Kickout, the final word in pro wrestling. I am your host, the Wizard CZ. With me, as always, is my tag team champion of the world partner of the For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network, and that is never wrong, Nick Bull. We are coming off a wild weekend full of wrestling that we're both excited about. We talked about it on the last episode of Card Subject to Change. Go back and watch it if you want to hear about Bridge City Slam and All Out. But Nick, how you feeling now that the wild weekend is over?
I'm feeling better. You build so much up for an event you're going to, and you're so excited, and you got all these expectations, and then like when they come through, it's just like it's amazing. It's the wrestling high, it's the wrestling buzz we get, but then the come down, the crash, the dreaded wrestling crash come down after wrestling buzz takes a couple days out of you, but feeling back to normal and feeling great, and still thinking about the memories I have and the experiences I had this past weekend, as I'm sure you did too with your wrestling show.
Absolutely. Nick, if you want me to start, or if you want to start, I'll ask the question.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
What do we want to talk about?
What do you want? So what do you want to talk about, CZ? Kick out. What do you want to talk about?
So I came prepared. Not saying you didn't, but I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks.
Okay.
Jack Perry recently introduced his new version of the TNT title.
Yep.
And I want to talk a little bit about custom titles and their place in wrestling.
Okay.
So my thought, I know neither one of us are fans of the spinner belt.
Yeah, not as much, but
for its time and place and for who carried it, it worked. And when Edge modified it with the rated R in the middle, that worked as well. But what sparked this is me thinking about when John Cena, before the WWE Championship spinner belt came into play, was an even worse belt, that god-awful spinner U.S. title championship.
You didn't like that, huh?
No, absolutely not.
You know what?
It looked...
I know you didn't like it, and I know it didn't maybe look the best, but it went with the character. And I guess
I don't disagree.
I guess we're towing a line here on the Kickout when it comes to personalized titles, because I think there's too many of them nowadays.
Yes.
Anybody wins something and they personalize it. I mean, I think back to the first personalized title I can think of off the top of my head. If you said the word personalized title, it's the Smoke and Skull belt, right? And the story behind that is the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, talked Stone Cold into doing it. And the belt was made without Vince knowing about it. And Vince hated it. But when Vince saw how popular it was and how it sold, and it was a no-brainer. So I feel like Stone Cold kind of crawled so everybody else could walk with their personalized belts. And I think it's done too much nowadays. You see it a lot in AEW. You said with Jack Perry customizing the TNT belt. I believe Mero had a customized belt when he was the TNT champion. And
MJF changing the international championship to the American championship.
The American championship and personalizing it. MJF, when he won the title, making it the Triple B, the Big Burberry belt. I could go on and on and on and on and on. And I think it's one of those things where it should be restrained a little more. I like personalized belts in the moment, when it counts, when it should, if it adds a little bit to the feud, if the star's big enough. But just regular guys swapping out the belt for their personalized belt after winning it for their first time, it just doesn't sit well with me. And I don't think, I think it takes away, if you change a title so many times, who's going to care about when they personalize the next one, right? So I guess I've kind of come to that fork in the road. There's been so many people with personalized titles. Now I just kind of roll my eyes and look the other way when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't want to say cringy. It's not cringy, but you're like you said, it's way overdone. What I would like to see more, not more of, but like there was talk when Cody won the WWE Championship that we might go back to a version of the Winged Eagle. I know you're not a big fan of the Winged Eagle belt, but I wouldn't mind seeing if they updated it, something like that. But that's not. I wouldn't consider that a custom or a personalized title for Cody. That would be bringing back.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, that would be bringing back something that's classic, which Cody has done before. So if he had done that with this belt, it would have been. It would, in my opinion, it wouldn't have taken away. It would have added to his character because he brought back the white strap for the classic and the classic Intercontinental Championship a number of years ago when he was first in WWE.
Correct. I want to bring up a point here. Look at Roman Reigns and that great reign he had. No personalized belts.
Nope.
The personalizing to me are the nameplates on the sides.
Yes.
The side plates or whatever. I like the world heavyweight title, which you may have over your shoulder there in your wrestling room and your studio. How it has the nameplate with the person's name on it. There it is. I see Goldie over there. I like that. Now you've seen the companies, both the big companies, WWE, AEW, gravitate, and NXT does it as well, of course, being a part of WWE, gravitate towards these personalized side plates on the belt. And I'm fine with those. It doesn't change the belt. It puts a little personality with it. And I think in doing that, we don't need the personalized belts anymore. It needs to be something major, in my opinion, like a big movement in wrestling or a big star or something had to happen to make that. Not like MJF taking the IC belt, the international championship, throwing the trash and being American. Like he had a personalized belt within a week and a half, 2 weeks of his reign. I don't like that. I wish we'd get away from that. And maybe having the side plates on the belts is the personal touch you can have to your title without having to go out and create a brand new title.
It's subtle, but at the same time, it's meaningful because it's specific to the wrestler, but it's not the entirety of the belt being changed.
Yeah. I'm fine with the side plate thing. I think it's something that's kind of evolved here recently. In the past, I want to say 6-8 years, the side plates have been coming in. Maybe it's been less than that. That's just kind of what it seems like to me. But I think it's a great touch. You don't have to change the title. You just swap out the side plates as the personal touch. Boom, there you go. Now it's got your name on it. It's got your logo on it. That's your belt now. And I think that's the way they should stay. They should stay in that lane and not veer off to creating new belts every 2 minutes when we want a personalized belt. That's the way I see it.
I completely agree. And I think that was a good topic to bring up because it elicited some good discussion there.
Oh, absolutely. And it's something that we both love. We both love title belts, for crying out loud. Love watching wrestling and seeing who has the belts and what the belts look like. So that's something that always that definitely popped me when you brought that up. I'm going to tell you what's popped me is our next episode of the Card Subject to Change podcast. We just had episode 147 talking about Bridge City Slam and AEW's All Out. You can catch that on the archives. But we got a guy coming in studio for episode 148. We're both pretty excited about CZ.
Oh, yeah. There's been someone that was suggested we get on the show months and months ago. Just hadn't had a chance to cross paths until recently.
Yep.
And I'm excited. He's been in Dreamwave for quite some time. He's very prominent around the Midwest. I had a great match. Was it December that we went to Dreamwave where he took on then champion Christian Rose?
Hold on, let me look. I got the calendar right over my shoulder. I got the poster here. Yes, it was set. It was Good as Gold. It was Dreamwave's Good as Gold when he took on Christian Rose. It was a great match. We're talking about the one and the only Mike Hartenbauer. a Midwest independent big time name, is going to be in studio with us the next time we join you here on the Card Subject to Change podcast. We're both excited.
Oh yeah.
I just love hearing guys that have been in the business for a while. I love hearing their journey into the business, but I also love hearing their journey into fandom. What made them get into this? Why they got into this? Sharing some tales. We've had some great people on from Dreamwave Wrestling, and this is one of the staples of Dreamwave Wrestling is Mike Hartenbauer. He's from the area. He's a fan favorite. He's the everyman, I would say, of Dreamwave Wrestling. That he goes out there and the fans love him. He fights for the fans. So I'm so excited to have him coming up on our next episode of the Card Subject to Change podcast.
Oh, I am too. And I want to piggyback off of something you said.
Sure.
You talked about the love of talking to these people who have been in the business for a while, hearing their origin story, hearing their journey through professional wrestling. One of the reasons I love doing this with you, Nick, is not only the veterans, but the younger crowd, like your John Bonharts, who have only been in the business for a couple of years, your Hunter Holdcrafts, hearing how they got into the business and where they hope to be in the next few years.
For sure.
And my absolute favorite part about what we do is giving that voice that they might not otherwise have to the talent out there. We're trying to branch out. We've got a couple of more Midwest stars coming on in September, Hartenbauer, and then I'm not going to name any names right now. Stay tuned. But we do have someone from outside the area coming on who has a very unique gimmick and story that I can't wait to hear. That'll be about mid-September, coming up in a couple weeks.
Yes, it's been an exciting year for our show. Big things still coming. We're here doing the kick out. We started this, and we're glad that you guys have responded in a positive way. We love coming on here, giving wrestling takes we may not have time for on our regular show. A lot of exciting things in tune here, in store here for the Card Subject to Change podcast, the kick out, and for the fans of both shows. We really appreciate your support. We love wrestling. We both come down off our wrestling high. We're hopefully your week is going well. We'll get you through the midweek here and get you prepped for episode 148 of the Card Subject to Change podcast. We'll have Mike Hartenbauer in studio. But until next time, thank you for joining us for the Wizard CZ. I'm never wrong, Nick Bull. This has been the kick out, the last word in wrestling.